Hello there, my lovely jewelry makers. I'm Christina at CSLdesigns, and in today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this diagonal steps wire weave. And you can of course use this for whatever you want to, so if you want to learn how you can make it, then keep watching. So I'm going to be using 4 lengths of 1mm wire, which is our base wire, and then I'm using 1 length of the 0.4mm, which is the weaving wire. So I'm starting with 1 length of the base wire here, and then I'm also grabbing the weaving wire, and I'm just going to lay the weaving wire on top of the base wire and just leave a short little tail on both. Grab onto those, and then I want to just wrap this around once just to attach it first of all, like that. Then I'm going to bring in the next base wire, lay that as the new top one. Then I want to bring the weaving wire up behind both base wires, come back down over the top of both, and I want to do that twice. So I'm wrapping over the top of both of them 2 times there, and then come up behind them again, bring in a 3rd base wire, come up behind and down over the top. Now I want to go down between the bottom 2 base wires so that I'm only wrapping over the top of the top 2. Just make sure your wraps are nice and tight. Come up behind to go over the top of those same top 2 again. And then can go up behind again. Be ready for the last base wire. Lay that as the new top one. And then same principle. Just bring the weaving wire down over the top of the base wires, but come down in the middle of all of them. So we only go over the top of the top 2, and just repeat that. So again, we have 2 wraps in the same place here. So if you look at your weave, we've almost created little steps going upwards here. And then I'm just going to wrap around the very top base wire by itself. Make sure to push that nice and tight. And again, do that twice. And now I want the weaving wire to come back over the top of all of them as we're going down here and come around the bottom base wire. Now don't do it too tight just yet, because I want to make sure that this wrap now has a bit of an angle, because you can see the actual little steps that we made, they have an angle to them. So I want this wrap to go from the top right here down to stay on the right side, but right next to the first wraps that we did on the bottom. So you just kind of need to use your fingers to hold it in place as I'm then bringing it back up behind all the base wires to again come down over the top of them. So again, we have 2 wraps there right next to each other, and keep pushing it downwards before we move on, so we have as little gap between our wraps as possible. You can also at any point use pliers to help push things together and kind of force it into the position that you want. And then from here, I'm going to come up between the bottom 2 base wires, because now I just want to wrap around the bottom one by itself. And again, you can use that to help push all your wraps nice and tight, and you want to do that twice. So wrap around the bottom one there twice, because basically we're starting over again now. So what we just did with the steps and then the wraps that are coming all the way over the wires at an angle there, we're going to now just keep repeating that, and that's what I just started. So after those 2 single wraps, I'm going to come up between the 2 middle wires, because now we're going to create those steps again, and then come down over the top of the bottom 2, up between the middle again, so we can repeat, always having those double wraps. Now step up 1, so come up between the 2 top base wires, down between the bottom 2, so we're wrapping around the middle 2, and all the time we're pushing things nice and tight together, and repeat around those middle 2. Step up behind the top ones and go down right in the middle of them all, and again repeat that. Now don't forget, bring it up and just wrap around the top wire by itself twice, just like the other times. And you can see we've now created those steps again, where we just have those wires coming at an angle over the top of them all. And from here, bring it back over the top of all of them and all the way down below the bottom wire. Come up behind them all again, making sure I'm pushing that weaving wire nice and tight so we get as few gaps as possible. Bring it around again, come up between the bottom 2, so we can lock that nicely in place. Make sure to push everything nice and tight so we get that angle on these 2 wraps that we just did in place, and then just do another single wrap there, and then we're back to the point where we need to make the steps again. So this is basically how you make the weave, and you just want to keep repeating this now, making your steps first of all, and then doing the wraps over the top of all of them to kind of separate them out. So just keep doing that until you have the length that you need. And that's how you make this diagonal steps wire weave, and you can easily use more or less wires. That's completely up to you and what you want to use it for. Now I do have a playlist full of different wire weaves, so you can check that out. Otherwise, I really hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you so much for watching it, and I'll see you in the next one.